Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's BBQ Joints, and I am excited to bring you this episode with Jim and Mandi Lero from Lillian's BBQ in Fort Worth, Texas. This one's a long one. It's about an hour and a half, and the reason why it's so long is because I talked to them for about an hour about their background, where they came from, how they grew the business into what it is today, and all about the business that it is today. And then I reconnected with them after their first pop-up because I thought that would be interesting for you guys and for myself to learn what that was like, what it was like the night before, what it was like doing it. Was it anything like they imagined? Any tips, any tricks? So that's the second half of this. So you could listen to 45 minutes and then 45 minutes. So it could be a two-parter, but I don't like to break these up into two parts. I like to keep them in one, and I'll try to keep this short. But this is a really great episode because it's interesting, and you know how I like to bring you stories of people that aren't from the barbecue business and they jump into the barbecue business, and they might have had barbecue their entire life, but they haven't had a restaurant or haven't had a pop-up or a catering business. So this is a great insight into that mindset and how they did it, how they pulled it off, and how the little things that happen along the way that seem like luck, but I believe, and there's a quote that you can create your own luck, and they definitely created their own luck in this scenario by working hard and doing all these things and connecting with the right people, and how the story involves Russell Regal and Misty Regal, John Brotherton, Brett's Backyard Barbecue, Brett Bourne, lots of people along the way, as well as the Facebook page, Texas Barbecue. So you should definitely join the Texas Facebook page. I'll put a link below because that has a big part of this, and that's how I connected with Jim in the first place. So sit back, enjoy this. Thank you guys for taking the time to share your story. Also, it's really cool. Jim messaged me and let me know that they will be every other Saturday, maybe adding a Sunday eventually, in front of Barlow's First and Last on Crawley Road. So that way you can get them on a more consistent basis until at the very end of this video we talk about a permanent spot that they're working on. And but it's over a year off, so I wanted to let you guys know that just check their social media, follow them on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for updates. But they will be every other Saturday in front of Barlow's First and Last. Very cool. And this episode is sponsored by the Smoke Sheet. The Smoke Sheet is a barbecue newsletter that comes in your inbox every Wednesday. It's chock full of information. It was started by Ryan Cooper, who is at BBQ Tourist, and Sean Ludwig, who is at NYC BBQ, who magically travel across the United States to every barbecue thing that's going on. They're always somewhere. They're always interviewing people, talking to people. You should definitely follow them on all their social media. But check out the Smoke Sheet at bbqnewsletter.com. Sign up, really easy to sign up, and every week you get tons of information, original content from them and other people, as well as information on barbecue events that are coming up, barbecue news, tons and tons of news about where people are going, where cooks and pitmasters are leaving and opening new places or shutting their place down and doing something else. They're always on top of all that stuff. Full of information on barbecue YouTube stuff and podcasts. It's definitely a great resource. You'll definitely love it. I've been on board since day one. I've mentioned that before. And I check it out every week, and I read it cover to cover or line to line, or however you would describe that as checking out an email. But it's definitely worth it. Check it out at bbqnewsletter.com. That's bbqnewsletter.com. Oh, and there's a barbecue recipe of the week. So you can go back on that website that I mentioned. You can go back to their website and see an archive of all the barbecue recipes from books and people and all this cool stuff. So you can definitely use that as a resource as well. But check them out. The Smoke Sheet is barbecue news worth consuming. And if you're digging these, please subscribe. That way you don't miss out on anything. If you're just listening to this on a podcast, I have a YouTube channel with YouTube versions of all these at youtube.com/Kevin's BBQ Joints. I have a website at Kevin's BBQ Joints with links to all my podcast stuff, all the YouTube stuff, all the original content, tons of lists of barbecue pop-ups in Texas and Los Angeles, and that list is growing all the time, and it'll grow to other states. So check that out at my website. I can be followed on all the social media at Kevin's BBQ Joints, and make sure you do follow along because something big is coming. A huge barbecue giveaway, unlike anything anybody has ever seen. I've been gathering stuff from all the people that have participated in my show because I want to promote them and promote their businesses. And I've gotten a lot of really cool stuff, unique things that you've never seen before. And I've been helping my mom through a number of surgeries, so haven't had the chance to put the effort into getting this giveaway going. And it will be going in October of 2019. If you're listening to this in 2022, it's already, hopefully there have been multiple giveaways, but it's coming up very soon. So follow me on my social media and check it out. Thank you for listening. I totally appreciate it. Have a great day. Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you guys doing today?
It's been a hectic day.
It has.
Let's talk about your day. What's been going on?
Well, we still have full-time jobs. So I'm the general manager for a general contracting company here in Arlington, and Mandi, she's the admin in the office. So we stay pretty busy, and some days are a little more hectic than others, and the day was a little hectic day. So worked, and then I had to run to Colorado Box Beef to pick up my meat order at lunch, and then rush back to the office and try to do that. So it's been a hectic day.
And this is great because, well, I've wanted to talk to you for a little while, and I love what I've seen online with the two of you guys, but also this is great for people that are interested in possibly doing what you're doing and seeing that there's a lot of things you have to juggle to make this work, and you still probably have a lot coming up to juggle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely a balancing act.
Oh, it's definitely. So did you guys both grow up in Arlington or in Texas?
We grew up in Bryan College Station.
Okay.
Which is about 2.5 hours south of here.
Okay.
So we were born up in Aggie Land,
Okay.
raised in Aggie Land. We left there when I was 30 years old. We moved to Missouri where my parents and my daughter lived, and so we moved up there to be close to them. And my grandparents lived there, and I had a couple of aunts that lived there, and so
Oh, wow.
they had migrated up that way, and so we had migrated up that way, and then. So we lived up there for 14 years, and then we came back here in 2016. I was off and on in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like what was it like living in Missouri? Because it's different, right?
So I love the weather. I love the seasons. It's a really pretty place. Mm-hmm. They call it Misery, but it's really a pretty place, especially when you get out of the town and things like that. But so I love that. The thing that I hated was I'm not going to say no, there wasn't any good barbecue. The barbecue is different.
It's different. That's a better way to say yes.
Than it is here in Texas. And so I really missed Texas barbecue.
We were ready to be back. We were ready to be back.
Were there places that were there places that you guys would go together prior to moving to Missouri and places that you dreamed of coming back to that you really wanted to eat at?
To be honest, when we moved up there, I mean, I always kind of grew up. So my background is I grew up from a farm family.
Okay.
So my grandparents always had a farm. They always raised cows and chickens and pigs, and the whole family kind of did that. One family member might have cows and stuff like that. So I grew up in that atmosphere of the farm life, of butchering our own stuff, of planting gardens, spending a lot of time in the summers with my grandparents. Which, wow. By the way, just a little FYI, Lillian's. Which is what we named the company after, was actually my grandmother.
I was going to ask that. That was an important. I kind of had a feeling, but I didn't know. But that's great. That touches me, and I'm sure that touches a lot of people too. That's important.
She was a neat lady.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time there. That's kind of where I grew up and what I love.
So then, Mandi, did you grow up in the same?
No. As a matter of fact, I joke all the time because I didn't become a foodie or what we tongue-in-cheek say a food snob until I married Jim. I grew up in a blue-collar family. We were, hard workers, but we didn't farm, and we ate affordably.
Okay.
That was so. I didn't even eat any Chinese food until I was like 21. So we didn't eat out a lot. We were home cooks.
Which is kind of nice. You're probably a great cook because of that.
Yeah, I enjoy cooking. I really do. But I wasn't. I didn't have an elevated palate, if you will, or a love or appreciation for food until Jim exposed me to that. Our first date, he cooked for me. So we developed a love and a passion for food and cooking together.
What was that first meal? Do you remember?
It was a grilled chicken salad. I think he grilled some chicken, and it was. I think that's what it was. Do you remember?
No, but I think that's no.
Yeah, it wasn't anything fancy, but it was good.
No, and I think that was something with. I was previously married, and that we fell in love cooking. Cooking was something that was just sharing cooking with anybody, and as you guys know with your restaurant and your restaurant to be serving people food and making them happy. That means so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does. It's a love language, if you will.
So how did you guys meet, at work?
We actually met through mutual friends, and
Yeah.
I think the first time we actually met was at a place that is no longer there. We called it the Hall of Shame, but it was called the Texas Hall of Fame. That was the other name, Hall of Flames, because it caught on fire once. So,
It was a bar. We met at a bar.
Oh, that's cool. No, that's great.
yeah, it supposedly was I think the largest the largest dance floor in Texas. It was there in Bryan, just outside of A&M.
Did it actually burn down at the end or just shut down?
No,
they shut down.
it burned down, but then they shut it down, and now it's a big Walmart.
Of course it's a Walmart.
Everything's a Walmart.
All right. It seems like here in California, everything becomes a Halloween store.
Well, here in Texas, it's fireworks.
True. Yeah.
You can't drive anywhere without seeing
Fireworks stand.
stands.
We can't have that here because we have such massive fires. What brought you guys back to Texas?
To be honest, when we moved there, we weren't married.
Mm-hmm.
We were just dating. And when we moved there, the deal was that I made with Mandi is when we moved there, if you ever get ready where you feel like you want to move back, just let me know and we'll move back. So we were there 14 years.
Okay.
Mandi worked at the same place the whole 14 years we were there. We just kind of started getting that itch to want to come home, be close to her family. And
His daughter had graduated high school and was doing her thing, so we were ready to come back. I was ready to be close to my family again, and we were just ready to be back in Texas. There's no other place like Texas.
No, I lived there for a year, and I find myself that I want to move back so badly, so badly. There's that draw. There's something special about Texas. It's different than anywhere else in the country.
It is.
oh yeah,
And there's a pride in the people, and it's not that any other places we're better than any other place, but people are just different in other areas. And
I would tell people that you go to a bar, at least this is how I was when go to a bar, and people would talk to you, like the bartender would talk to you because they were curious about you. It wasn't for like ulterior motives or to get a tip necessarily. It was, or you'd sit somewhere and like another couple would talk to you and you thought, okay, it's different. It's just there's a sentimentality at that Texas vibe.
yeah, oh yeah.
there was a girl that I worked with in Missouri, and she made the comment once, we would go out to lunch, and she was like, you talk to everybody. You talk to the people at the Sonic drive-thru. You talk to the people when we go, at the waiter. You talk to everybody. And I was like, that's just how we do it.
Yeah, that's Texas. That is. Yeah. And I think that's maybe too. I wonder if that's why the Texas barbecue world has thrived so much, because everyone cares about each other and they're so social, and you got to wonder. There's something more to it, but also it's regional too. So when you guys came back, did you have in the back of your mind that we want to open something someday, or were you going out to these places and trying a lot of barbecue, and that's what made you fascinated by that? Or
So
what caused all this?
I grew up, like I said, kind of. We always cooked out. I remember my grandfather. I was a young teenager when he died, but I remember that one time that they had the old refrigerators that were made like 1957 Chevys, made out of 1/4-inch steel. It was a real refrigerator. I remember one time it went out, and he took it out back, and he built the fire in it.
Oh wow!
He laid it down on his back, built the fire in it, burned out all the plastic, and then he was left with this hull, and he cut some holes in it and just put some rebar through it, and they put some expanded metal in there, and that was the pit, and that so we grew up on
That's
things
so
like
cool.
that and cooking Czech style. We're Czech, so Czech style, which should be really a little more prevalent in barbecue, especially in Central Texas, but it's actually over live coals. Mm-hmm. So it's not the offset. It's actually that kind of barbecue is cooked over live coals.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people really know much about the Czech style. They might know sausage, maybe they would think that.
Yeah, but and so that's what we grew up, and then they kind of elevated, because my dad and my uncle Tommy, they were fabricators in metal. Okay. So then it would move from old refrigerators to a little more designed with it was still the same style, but it was still more of a style with a door where you could open it, things like that. And so that's the kind of barbecue, and I can always remember my grandfather had a smokehouse, so we're big sausage people.
Okay.
So I always remember killing hogs and we would have to scrape them down, and then we would take all the head and the bones, and we would put it in a big pot, and we'd boil it up and make itza, which is kind of like a
This is awesome. This is great.
It's a loaf kind of with barley and some other things. It's a Czech thing, and then we would make sausage, and we would smoke it in the smokehouse, and it was done old school.
Can you remember the taste of that sausage?
Oh yeah, I mean yeah.
I'm sure though that's probably a really great memory for you.
Oh yeah, and nothing really went to waste. And we had some friends when we would do hogs that worked with my dad, and the things that we didn't want, they would come and get because they did want them, and we take the skin and cut it up and make cracklings and all of that stuff. So it was just
that's in your blood.
Lifestyle. Yeah, that's the lifestyle we grew up in. Was kind of a nothing fancy, nothing frilly, but that was my barbecue growing up.
When you came back, did you buy an offset or make yourself an offset?
No. So when we were up there, I had mentioned that really missed the flavor of Texas brisket. Mm-hmm. Up there, it's one of the larger. I think Missouri is like number 2 as far as cattle production mm-hmm. in the states. But that attention to the brisket was just different there. Mm-hmm. It was different. So I would end up, I went to Sam's, and they had this little offset grill thing that had a firebox on it. And I still have it. And it's got, it's got a little firebox on it, and it's got a little cooking area, and it had a little deal you turn and the grate would go up and down. So it was kind of a smoker / grill, and that's where I really started doing my own little cooking pork butts and cooking brisket.
He's always loved to cook.
Yeah, I love to cook. So it didn't matter what it was. And that's when I really started to bring that part back into my life of, smoking meats. And then we graduated to, my dad went down to Sam's and bought another Sam's purchase.
All Sam.
Stand-up smokers with the gas grills in the bottom. Okay. And then it had the pans in there that you could put stuff. So then we started playing with that. And then we started making, we'd always made link sausage, but we never made summer sausage, and we started playing with different. That's when I started getting into the sausage making thing a little more than just being there to be the guy that turns the grinder handle, the stuffer handle, And so we started making summer sausage, and we started making jalapeno and cheese, because jalapeno and cheese is not traditionally a Czech style sausage. Okay. And so there's normally about 4 or 5 spices in a German Czech style sausage, and that's it. It's pretty basic. True. And so then we started playing with that. So it started to grow and to progress our sausage making. And,
was this but this is in Missouri, or this is when you?
Yeah, it's in Missouri.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was mostly cooking for family functions or church functions, or when we get together with friends. It was, at that point, it was never about making money or making a living out of it. It was just the love of cooking and sharing.
Great to be around you.
Yeah. He loves to feed people. He loves to feed people, and I would take stuff to work, and they'd call me a food pusher.
No, but you're bringing great stuff. In Missouri, it was even more unique.
Yeah. I think on our 8th anniversary, I think it was our 8th, I made her she loves turkey pot pie, and I made her a turkey pot pie, and I remember putting on I did the frilly, the top on there with the crust and everything, and then I took the dough and I wrote, I think
J Heart M.
J Heart M on the top of it. And, so just silly things like that with food. We always had friends that would come over and we would cook. My buddy Bob Piedmont, he would come over and he would just, man, come on, make steaks. Come on. We'll come over, can make steaks. So, it was just kind of always a thing of.
Love to feed
so it
people.
Sounds so natural for you. Just like this whole, what's happening right now, it sounds so natural.
Yeah. And, we love to watch, it might not be popular with a lot of people, but we love to watch Guy Fieri. I mean, I probably watched almost every diners and drive-ins and dives.
So have I. That. I think, I think it's like maybe a guilty pleasure. I think everyone has watched no one wants to admit it, but I think that also introduces you to so many restaurants, and I wanted to chat with him because he's gone to so many barbecue places, and whatever you want to think about him, he really has promoted a lot of places.
Yeah. Talk about Guy, when we were living in Missouri, we went to the
American Royal. Is that
American Royal. Yeah, we went to the American Royal, and that was the year that Johnny Trigg got nominated or got inducted into the
the Hall.
Oh,
barbecue.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so I actually got to meet Johnny Trigg, and I got to meet Myron Mixon
Oh, cool.
and a bunch of guys there, and man, it was just, and we were watching that show, BBQ Pitmasters, and then I mean, religiously, my wife would be like, "Oh my gosh, again," because
Yeah.
we would watch it on like, rerun.
Yeah, my ex-wife was a vegetarian, and so it's even worse for her because I was watching that
Oh.
so much.
I'm sure.
But yeah, no, but that was interesting because it was a window into that world, and it was interesting to meet those characters like Tuffy and Myron and
Yeah.
Johnny Trigg and
Johnny, I have to tell you, I've always kind of followed. I never have really been into the competition world, but I got to meet Johnny that day, and I've read a little bit about Johnny, and I actually were friends on Facebook, and I actually have messaged back and forth with him on
that's
Messenger,
cool.
and he responds just like somebody I've known all my life.
Wow.
And it was just amazing to me,
Down to earth.
to this guy that's a barbecue Hall of Fame inductee is just somebody answering a couple questions or whatever for just nobody. I'm nobody. He doesn't know me.
yeah, no, but that also
And
is
that was-
that's the essence of barbecue. That's the essence of a
That's
true.
it. That's when I first started to get introduced to this barbecue thing and how barbecue people really were, and it's just been absolutely phenomenal since we've started to slowly get this rock rolling down the hill. And I'm telling you, it's been fast.
Yeah, I know what's funny is I've always wanted to talk to you, and I recently, but within the last 3 or 4 weeks, people have said you need to contact Jim. You need to call him. You need to talk to him. He's so interesting. He's so passionate, and he's coming. Like there's something big coming with it. So I think a lot of people that you might not even know are talking about you.
Oh, wow. That's
I
exciting.
appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really neat, and it made me like I'm like okay, well it made it even more a reason I was excited that. So when did you start? Did you start catering back in Texas? Is that?
So no.
Yeah,
Well,
he's asked us a couple times, and we haven't got
so-
there yet.
That's
So
okay.
what-
No, it's I
always
try to
cook
steer it. It
people-
doesn't always work.
We always cook for people up in Missouri, and it's always been a thing with our family. We've always gathered around a meal.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
we moved back here, and I started to get a little bit more into the barbecue thing and started to be a little more active in it. I went on Facebook and on Marketplace, I bought a smoker, and it was about, I think it was probably it was probably 9 or 10 feet long. It was a 24-inch chamber, and it was 3/8 steel, and it had, this thing was massive.
It's huge.
It took a forklift just to move it.
Oh, no.
And, me and 3 buddies went over, and you should see we were up in the trailer, and finally got it out at the house, and and that's where we started doing it. And one of my most fondest memories, my dad and mom were still living there, and we were down here, and when Dad would come down, Mom and Dad we would gather around that smoker, and we would smoke meat.
That's great.
And friends, and so we had that one, and trying to progress to where your question. So then I
He sold it because he wasn't
I
happy.
sold it.
He wasn't happy.
I wasn't happy with it because everybody was asking me to barbecue. Her brother lives down in just outside of Magnolia, and he was always asking to barbecue. And so I was like, you know what? Her nephew was graduating high school, and he was going into the Army.
Okay.
And they wanted to do a
they
big
wanted to do a
send-off
big
party.
send-off. And all I had was that smoker that weighed 4,000 pounds. Now, granted, I had a trailer, but it would take 3 hernias and 2 elephants to get it back to the trailer to move it down there. So I started looking one day, and lo and behold, we found this really cool trailer. Talk about really cool things. That this guy he worked for Prex Air, which is a metal and welding supply place. He built this cool smoker on a trailer in his garage.
Like for practice, maybe, or
Yeah. And it had the smoker itself, but it had what are those? A burner for like beans
Yeah,
and pot, and it had a stainless steel table for cleaning and
Prep
prep.
and
that's so super custom.
And then on the
Yeah.
other side, it had storage, so that it was like a traveling trailer that you could. Yeah, it was really cool.
And the guy, he wanted a really reasonable price for it. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was the first one. And when I saw it, I went there and looked at it. I was like, you know how it is when you this car that you've always wanted and you go look at it and you don't care that it's got a scratch here,
It doesn't
ding
matter
there,
now.
the bumper's a little crooked, or it pulls to the left. All of those things. To be honest, when I went to look at it, I was just so excited to get it and to have that opportunity to be able to be mobile and go cook for the people that wanted me to cook for them.
Yeah.
The wheels started turning.
Yeah, so we bought it. We got a really good deal on it. I'm not gonna lie, we got a really good deal on it. It wasn't perfect, but it did a great job with us for almost 2 years.
I was upset when we sold it.
Yeah, I mean, we've cooked everything from hamburger, I got to give a shout out here to talk about the catering. I'm going to get there.
Okay. No, I know. I like it. I like this. This is great. No, people get to know you. This is important.
So anyway, the trailer, we had the trailer, right? And I started working
We took it down there. We did that.
Yeah, we did that. We did that several times. As a matter of fact, I probably cooked more barbecue before we started doing what we're doing now at her brother's for family events than I cooked anywhere else.
He has
because
three children. All of them have, we did their graduation party, we did their send-offs, and then when my nephew would come home from the Army, we've done more cooking for, welcome home parties. So
Yeah.
Great practice for groups, like doing it for larger people.
Oh yeah. For the company that I work for, Correct General Contracting here in Arlington.
Yeah.
One of the things that we got involved with was one of the realtors and some other people. They do a tailgating party for the opening day of the Rangers.
Okay.
So I had been cooking for the guys at work, and they're like, "Oh man, we want to do this. We're going to sponsor this. Can you do this? We're going to, it's about 150 people. Can you do it?" And so I was like, "This is our first thing, right?" So we've been playing with recipes, and I think we did macaroni and cheese with bacon, and it was like heart attack macaroni and cheese. And
it wasn't our best stuff.
It wasn't the best, but it was, man, I'm telling you, it's all perspective when you talk about food. But so anyway, we stayed up all night long cooking these briskets. Oh, it was a pain in the ass. It was cold and misty, and I just had such a hard time keeping the smoker at temperature, and then try to get some rest. And it was comical to do all this. But this was our first cater, and we roll up. I'm literally rolling down the highway, got briskets. We don't have Cambros. We don't have anything. I'm rolling down the road. Oh, no. I got briskets in the ice chest and wrapped and I got everything all wrapped up. We get there, fire up the pit. Everybody's smelling the smoke, and we serve, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is so good."
Oh, wow. Okay.
I always hear that from her friends, right? Because you're giving them the stuff.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Like, yeah, it's free. You're always thinking, "Oh, you're just being nice." And then so everybody loved it. We had a really good time, to be honest.
Good feedback.
It really wasn't. It wasn't very good compared to what we produce now.
Yeah.
But it was what it was. We were working on our rubs. We were working on some different things, and so it was good. But it wasn't like, wow, no.
But it helped to reinforce with you that you were doing something special.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing was people were interested in eating my food. Mm-hmm. Besides friends and family. And so that's the whole. You asked about how we got into the catering thing. That was our first taste. That's the first taste of it, and to have a whole pile of people just come up to you and thank you for that. It's almost like it's almost like at the beach when you dig a hole in the sand and with your feet and you stand there and then you back up and the waves roll in and next thing you know all your footprints are gone. Mm-hmm. So all of that turmoil and all of that stuff that happened that night and the day before and all that stuff and the no sleep.
Makes it all worth it.
It just like washed away.
Interesting. That's an interesting analogy. I never heard of it that way, but it makes complete sense.
Yeah, it's like, when people have that smile on their face and they love your food, you're just like, it was worth it. It made it worth the effort.
So did you think at that time, did you think at all that you might do this for like a living or a sort of living, or was that even in the back of your mind?
So no, well, not for me especially. It kind of just progressed. We got to where everybody at work knew that we could cook, or knew, he was good on the smoker. So they would ask us to cook for company event. He started getting real involved with Texas barbecue
The Facebook page.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Yeah, and to promote that too. I think we should promote that because that's how we met.
Yeah. And it got to where he was on it all the time. He was always talking about barbecue. I mean, barbecue became we talked about barbecue a lot.
An obsession, like.
Like an obsession. And there's one thing about my husband, when he chooses to do something or he takes up a new hobby or he takes a new interest, he doesn't do anything halfway. It's full throttle, almost like blinders. This is what I'm doing now. And it's a good thing because he doesn't do anything halfway. So when he started getting involved, he would talk to people about barbecue and what they're doing. And I mean, the passion just started to grow for anything and everything barbecue. And I know there are things that he would take part in the page that at this point I wasn't involved in any way with that part of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not big on social media. I don't get on there a lot, but he was very active at that point, and he started making friends in the barbecue business. And
did you start going around to places too to eat barbecue?
So I was part of one barbecue forum, and I didn't. It wasn't my favorite. Let's just say that. Okay. And so another friend of mine, Casey Way, had Syntex Barbecue, and kind of back up a little bit too to kind of give some build up into this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm part of Texas Sausage Makers. It's a Facebook page. Dylan's the guy that Dylan Ottmer runs it. Casey's part of it. I'm an admin on there too. We've got some great admins that are part of Sausage Makers.
I want to check that out. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So when we were on that page, one of the things that we got involved with was we sponsored a benefit, barbecue benefit for a young man that had cancer.
Okay.
And we were going to raise money for him and his family to be able to offset them not being able to work as much and the expenses and all that stuff.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and so it kind of started off, I got involved and I was like, hey, I can help out with that. And the next thing you know, it kind of just morphed into this really huge thing. And we went and we didn't have a whole lot of people. I think we had 8 people. There, but for the cook-off.
For the cooking.
But we all cooked food, and then we served plates, and we did a raffle, and we did all of this stuff.
Raised a good amount of money. I don't remember the amount.
It was either $13,000 or $17,000.
Wow, that's impressive. That's so nice.
And the raffle, and all of the stuff, and the cooking. I mean, this is where I freaked out when I cooked a bunch of pork butts, and we had some left over. And I went and told the guy that was auctioning everything off. I was like, hey, man, I got a brisket and I got 3 pork butts. And the next thing you know, they're up there. And so my brisket and pork butt went for $300. and then I think one of the pork butts sold for like $170 and the other one was like $125 bucks. And it was for neat. That's cause, but it was like, wow, that's pretty cool, so that's the first time I've ever been in a competition. That's the first time we ever took
second in ribs.
Yeah, we took second in ribs, but that's the first time we ever went and cooked for a large group like that.
Gotcha. And
for the purpose that it was phenomenal to meet. And I'm friends with I think almost everybody that was there now. We speak occasionally. Me and Casey and Dylan became really good friends. So that was just the launching of the whole. Maybe we could do that, and we would sit and talk. Me and Casey and Dylan, and they all wanted to do the same thing, and we would just dream together as we'd have conversations about having a barbecue trailer one day. And so it was there, and it never went away, and I got involved with, so back to Casey, He had Syntex Barbecue. Well, he had kind of fallen off, and he was over here with Texas Barbecue, because it had more people, and Syntex was just kind of a bunch of us guys. And so he was like, hey, he put on the page, hey, come over to Texas Barbecue. I'm going to kind of stop doing this. And so I had kind of thought, well, I'll take it over. And we had talked about me taking over, and he had actually made a deal that Jim's going to take it over. But then I got to thinking, why reinvent the wheel? Texas Barbecue's here. It had a bunch of great guys in it. Had a bunch of pitmasters that were doing the deal, and had a great following. I think had a little bit less than 3,000 people at that time, but to me that was 3,000 barbecue people.
No, but that's a good amount of people, and it was it's active. It was active probably then too.
And they weren't slouches either. I mean, Bill Dumas was in there. John Brotherton. A lot of these guys I didn't know there. John Brotherton was in there. All of these guys were in there. And I didn't really know it at the time, but there were some big names. There's a lot of big names in Texas barbecue that are there supporting the page. So I called up Derek and I was like, hey, I was thinking about doing Derek Strelsky. He's the guy that manages, or that the founder of Texas barbecue. I was like, look, this is where I am. This is my passion. I would really like to help grow and build Texas barbecue, the Facebook page. Yeah. And he talked it over with his son, and he said, well, I want to make you a moderator. And so he made me a moderator, and I started, doing things, and I would go around to things and promote the page, and, started helping grow, getting the logo made and things like this. And so we started a kind of...
Again, nothing halfway. I mean, it was...
Yeah, of course. They chose the right guy.
Yes, they did.
So, that was a great outlet to me, and that's where it really kind of started professionally. As I took that and I was like, hey, I'm with Texas barbecue. And I started going around to different places and meeting different people and meeting different pitmasters and
learn. The Houston Barbecue Festival.
Went to the Houston Barbecue Festival as a media to cover it for the page. And John Brotherton helped with that whole deal. And I got to go hang out with him. And that's where I got to meet.
We met a lot of people.
I can imagine.
And realize, this is a family.
Yeah.
Barbecue is not.
It totally is. It's like...
It's not like other genres of business. It's not like, I'm in the construction business and the roofing business, and that's a cutthroat business. The roofing business is a cutthroat business. You don't go sit down with your roofing buddy and talk about business. It's just not that way. So it's a completely different...
And everyone's so tight-lipped in other businesses, whereas Texas, it's not that,
Yeah,
it's amazing, actually.
It's, like you said, Mandi, it's amazing. It really is.
And getting to meet, John, I'll probably say his name a lot during all this.
But John, what's funny is John Brotherton... In a lot of my interview, I know I was going to say on your shirt, and then a lot of the interviews I've done, and I actually have one coming up with him, and that I'll be posting in a week or so. But his name goes through a lot of people. Him and Russell Regal go through his. A lot of people are connected to both those guys. It's interesting.
Yeah, I got to meet Russell there. I got to meet so many people. Scott Moore, Randy Duncan.
Tejas,
when I first got onto Texas barbecue, I was, I had some questions, and and this is really blew me away. One day I was talking, and we were on the page, and I just put out a question, and next thing you know, Lance Eaker with Eaker Barbecue down in Houston. Mm-hmm. He puts his phone number out on the page, and he says, "Man, if you ever need anything, you just call me."
Amazing. That's amazing.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. The just even mention I might want to do this, or I got some questions, and then everybody just like,
But that's great for anybody listening to this, because I do a podcast version of this too. So anybody listening or watching this can sign up for that page, join it, and then if they have questions, they'll get answers, and people will engage with them, and makes them like you have like lifelong friends now because of that.
So John's been a big. John's been a big. We got dogs here. John's been a big proponent of us. Brett. With Brett's backyard.
And Mandi, you have a Brett shirt, don't you?
Yeah, we decided we were going to show our love.
You should. That's great. That's awesome.
So, Brett's been a big deal. Another cool story. So I sold my trailer, and I got another smoker that's not mobile. Okay. So her brother wanted to do an event for, was it Justin came? Oh, Justin, her nephew that's in the Army. Home. He came home for a visit, and every time he comes home for a visit, we always do a barbecue. But I didn't have a trailer, and we catered our family reunion.
Okay.
And I didn't
have a week before.
Yeah, like a week before, and I didn't have a smoker, and so I'm freaking out. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get this non-portable smoker on my trailer, get it down there. And so
It became an issue.
yeah, Brad Doan is a friend of mine with 1775 there in College
Oh yeah,
Station.
yeah, yeah.
He's a great guy, and we were talking, and he's like, I borrowed this trailer from Russell Reagle, for a big deal I had to do. I got it here, and I got to thinking, there's no way.
And that's on the way.
We met him.
That's on the way to my brother's.
Yeah, there's no way. I've only met Russell one time, but I thought I'm at a loss here. I don't know what else to do. So I send Russell a message. It says, "Hey man, I got a cook for our family reunion. It's down there in Bryan. Is there any possible way that you would rent me your smoker?" And he's got one of those big 800 Buells.
Bewley's, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful setup. They use it for A&M out the meat sciences stuff, and
Yeah, Jeff Sable mentioned that. Yeah.
yeah, and next thing you know, he's like, "Yeah, just go get it." I'm like, "What? How much is it going to be?" I'm got a budget here, Mark. And he's like, "Just go get it." And I'm like, this is
We met him once.
Yeah,
At this
met him
point,
once.
we
See,
only met-
and that says so much about a person
does.
and about how much he cares about helping other people. And
Yeah, and the trailer's 25, and the smoker's $25,000 without even sitting on wheels. This is you're probably talking about $35,000-$40,000 to replace this. What this thing is worth. And he's like, "Yeah, just go get it from Brad."
amazing.
So we took it and we did it. We did the cook for the family reunion.
That's so amazing.
And then the next weekend after that, we left it there at my aunt's house in Bryan because the next week after that, we were going down to her brother's. And so we just picked it up on the way back down, went down to her brother's.
He just let us have it for a couple weeks.
What?
And, yeah, went down to her brother's and cooked down there. And when we were done,
All we had to do was take it back.
I was literally 30 minutes from where he stored it there in Magnolia. And he was like, "Yeah." So it's just like, "Hey, man."
I love that
It
so
was
much.
very touching, the willingness
Yeah.
of people to just,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you need something and I got it, you're welcome to it. And that you don't see that in today's world.
At all for almost anything, and it actually gives you a little bit of hope for this world. I think.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, if we could get the government of the United States to fall in to the mindset of the people in the
Texas barbecue.
Texas barbecue community,
We'd be safe.
we could cure the world and have world peace through Texas barbecue.
Absolutely.
And we'd all eat really well.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll help you work on that, Jim. Well, let's work on that. Let's get that going.
So, when we first started even thinking about it up here, Chris and Ernie with Panther City, they had a barbecue smoker. They had their original smoker that was a cabinet smoker that they had on a trailer that they were selling. And we were kind of looking for something. So I went over there and I introduced myself and I told him, "Hey, I'm kind of interested in this." We talked about it. And I also told him that I was with Texas Barbecue and that I was really going to try to start bringing more Fort Worth people to light on the page. Because Austin's got a good following and Houston's even got a really good following, but you really don't see a whole lot of talk about Fort Worth barbecue. So I was like, "Hey, I'd really like to do this. I'd like to talk to you guys and put, spotlight you guys every now and then, post something on the page." And we just got to talking. And I think we talked for like an hour, and just, yeah. And he's like, "Man, if you ever need anything, just, if you got any questions or whatever," because I told him that what we were thinking about. He's like, "Man, if you have any questions, just come down here and just ask questions."
Amazing. That's amazing. And I had a friend of mine texted me a photo of a tray of theirs today, and it was just gorgeous.
Ryan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did he?
Ryan?
He posted it, right? Did he post it?
Yeah, he tagged me in and said, "Thanks for being my Fort Worth barbecue guy."
Oh really? Okay, cool. Okay, that's see,
Yeah.
it's small world. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as he saw that night, like it was this morning, I'm like, wow. I'm like, oh man.
Oh yeah. I think he went to see Michael Wyatt over at Flores today, and I think he went to. And I think I pointed him toward. I was like, "If you can handle one more tonight, Brian out at 407 Barbecue, he has an evening service. Go out there and see Brian. He's a great guy too." So.
Oh, that's great.
So when we started talking about this, I'm always nervous about my food.
Okay. Now I think I know what you're saying. Go on. This is interesting. I always wondered how this happened. Yes.
Yeah, I'm always nervous about my food, and I'm a perfectionist. And so
understatement.
I was like, man, if we're going to do this, what do people know? People really in the real barbecue world are like, yeah, this is. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So one day we were like, we're going to have a get together.
We had a catering that day.
Did we?
Yes. Remember, I had to go by. I had to take.
Oh,
yes,
you took
a
a
wow,
cater.
that's crazy.
cater by myself.
And I cooked, and Ryan was coming through here, but he didn't have time to stay
It was
here.
like a Wednesday.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to get to eat anything. And I was like, you know what? Because I got with everybody and was like, hey, you can no. And so I was like, dude, you're not leaving Fort Worth without having some Fort Worth barbecue. I got with him and Pop's Post. Yeah, so Ryan's like, do you mind if I invite Pop? And I'm like, whatever.
No,
and I called
great.
Chris and Ernie, and I called Dane with Dane's Barbecue, and I called Joe Risky with Risky's Barbecue, and I called my buddy Brandon Hurtado. Am I missing anybody?
Nope.
That was everybody. And so
That's a cool
I had
group,
all
though.
of these Fort Worth barbecue, gurus here in my kitchen, and I cooked, I cooked the big old spread, and we just put it out, and we thought people were going to sit down. And we literally sat in my kitchen around the island.
And everybody
just
Yeah,
ate.
all the photos were from your island. Yeah.
And drank beers, and we just hung out, and then we kind of migrated to the back, and everybody just kind of we took some pictures and hung out, and everybody just kind of visited about barbecue and family and all of those things. And
when somebody who travels makes a living traveling around and eating barbecue looks at you and says, yours holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is good enough to be out there.
Means a lot.
It means a lot. It meant a lot to us.
Yeah, and to have those guys, and they gave me some good critique.
I'm sure.
Nothing's ever perfect.
Right.
I actually the brisket was a little bit under. Had a great flavor, had great tooth feel, but it was I could have gone a little bit longer with it, but but the whole point was it was positive feedback. Everybody said it was good, and it was kind of like maybe this will work.
Uh-huh.
If these guys, and one of the things that Pop said to me, he's like, look, dude, he says, I've been to a lot of places, and I've been to a lot of places around Dallas Fort Worth. He says, but I'm going to tell you, if you can recreate that every time, just pick a spot, just pick a corner of Fort Worth, and you'll make it.
Yeah.
And it was like, that meant a lot. I'm pretty sure he didn't realize, the impact that or the nudge that would give me to really venture out into making this a real deal.
Yeah, that's huge. So from that was that a year ago or a little more than?
Oh no,
No, it was earlier this year.
No, maybe 3 months
Was-
ago.
no, it was a little longer, but it was. I think I'm trying to.
It was a little
3 or 4, 3 or 4 months
Okay.
ago.
Oh, okay. Wow. It's time goes by. I have no sense of time anymore.
Oh yeah. No, it was warm outside, so yeah, it was probably 3 or 4 months ago.
Was it Lillian's BBQ at the time, or was it just Jim?
So
Jim and Mandi
all we
cooking?
had for Lillian's barbecue at the time is we had some cards made. We went down and got our DBA. We had some banners.
We were just doing catering for work events and.
Yeah, so that like I said, I'm the general manager for Craig General Contracting, and so one of the things that we were trying to reevaluate our market spending that we spent for the year before, and try to get more bang for the buck.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do is we try to reach out to realtors and insurance agencies and things like that. And what works really well is to do what they call lunch and learns and things like that, where you get to come in, you bring them food, and you tell them a little bit about yourself, what you can do, and how you can offer services to them and to their customers.
Makes sense.
So, I got to thinking, we can do this.
Yeah, the marketing supervisor was like, you cook, you anything you make is going to be better than anything I can buy at the store. Well, it's usually for 20, 30, 50 people. So we'll just have you. So we started doing all this catering for the business.
That's great. That's smart.
And that's why the trailer got sold too. Is we tried to do a couple of those, and to sit and babysit an offset smoker all night after working all day, then cook all night, go and serve it, and then have to work. It was killing us.
Clean it up, and
Yeah, it was really just killing me. And Brian McClarty out there at 407 Barbecue is a big, Old Hickory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it's an Old Hickory. Yeah.
Yeah, and he cooks some really good food out there. So I got to looking at it from the aspect of how could I refine what we're doing, still create a good product, and be able to function with a full-time job and to make barbecue for people.
Makes sense.
So we really got to looking into it. We sold our smoker that was on a trailer, and we invested some more money, and we found a Old Hickory CTO, was brand new, had not had one stick of wood in it.
Wow.
From a gentleman that was up in Dallas. And we came home and we decided we were going to invest that toward what that was going to be the first thing we invested in. And so we got that, and with all pits, you got to learn it and things like that. And so that's really been a lifesaver. A lot of people call him, but Brandon Hurtado, his buddy of mine, he gives me a hard time all the time. He calls it push button, barbecue. And I joke with him all the time. I was like, yeah, wait till next year. I'm going to get the slice and serve feature. So all you got to do is walk up and push what you want. And it's going to cook it and slice it and serve it out the side for you. And I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. It's like a vending machine. Like 2 pounds.
Yeah. I need 2 pounds of brisket. Beep. But no, it's a lot more than that. And I know there's people that don't go for that.
Opinions.
They have opinions. I won't go there with that. But the whole point was, if I can bring, was it 6 or 8 guys that are all barbecue, known in the barbecue, business, and do a really good job with barbecue. If I can bring them here and I can cook and they are happy with my food and I can do it on what some people deem as not a smoker, that's doing something.
Definitely. So that whole big trailer, did you buy that? Did you build that custom, or how did that come up?
Okay, so we were thinking that we were going. So here's how the whole trailer thing started. I'm one of those people. Once I get something in my head, it's like an itch, and it won't go away. And so finally, we talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And I was like, finally one day I went to Mandi. I was like, I'm sick of talking about it. We're going to find a trailer. We're going to do it. So I started talking to Brad, and I started talking to Brett, and started talking to some other people, started talking about trailers and where we could get one made. So we were actually in the process of starting to look at floor plans and talking to guys about floor plans, about buying a trailer. Yeah. And the next thing you know, Fernando with Brett's BBQ posted on Barbecue Classified that how I got the notification, I'm a part of it, but how I got the notification 14 minutes after he posted it is, I don't know how that happened. I just call it, I'm going to say somebody was looking over.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, and so I messaged him. I'm like, hey, I'm really interested in this. When can? And this was like on a Wednesday? Mm-hmm. And he was like, come down and look at it. So on Friday, we drove down to Brett's. We always stay at the Rainbow Motel there. Neat little place. If you ever go to see Brett's and Snows and all that, stay at that.
I think I saw it. You write something about that. Okay.
So we stayed there and we went and saw it and we hung out with Brett and Fernando and everybody. And we worked out a deal, So we
drove home with it.
And drove home. But here's a funny part about barbecue world. He was like, well, I was like, I want to buy it. And he's like, well, what do you want to offer me? And I'm like, well, it's yours. You tell me,
yeah.
What you would take for it. He's like, look, he says, I want you to be comfortable with the purchase.
Wow.
So what would make you comfortable with the purchase? And what it was the trailer, but he had inside Brett's old trailer, he had just bought a brand new prep table. And he was going to get rid of that. And on the back of it is a 36-inch commercial griddle. And he was going to take that off and sell that separately. And I said, hey, for what you're asking for, would you throw in, because I'm going to need that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to need that prep. Would you throw that in? He's like, sure.
Sold.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So
we got a good deal.
So Brett was like, hey, man, I tell you what, if you stay and you help me out, I got this commercial warmer that I'm not going to use anymore. And so he said, you come help me out and I'll give it to you.
Wow.
And so we hung out there. we hung out there for the weekend.
We won. And
yeah, you did win.
Oh, winning weekend.
I couldn't let him give it to me, but I gave him a little something for it. But the whole point is, we drove down there with nothing. We drove back with a trailer fully rigged to sell barbecue besides my smoker. And we
it was a blessing for sure.
It's a huge blessing. That's crazy. That's amazing.
We got into that trailer with everything ready to go for half of what it would have cost just to buy the trailer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No.
But then you had to, for the Old Hickory, you had to fabricate something, right?
Yeah, we put it on the back. My dad helped me with that. We put it on the back, and then I've spent a little time in the HVAC world, so I'm pretty handy with some sheet metal work. So we constructed
it. Looks nice. It looks good.
And put it on there, and
we had it wrapped and
we had it wrapped.
The wrap is gorgeous. That looks great.
Oh yeah.
They did a good job.
Oh yeah, and we called the guy on the way down there, and we're like, hey, we're looking at buying this trailer. It's a 24-foot. What would you charge? And a buddy of mine, he did a wrap for a buddy of mine, and he charged him a certain amount of money for a smaller trailer. And I was like, how much would it charge? And he told me what it was, and I was like, are you serious? And he's
right
like,
on.
yeah, that's what I'll charge you for it. And so it was the same amount that my buddy got for a much smaller trailer with a lot less on it. And so it was just like things started to fall into place.
It's all making sense.
It's happening the way it's supposed to, and doors are being opened left and right. So.
Yeah, and so it's been absolutely amazing. We got it back here. We got it wrapped. We did a little cleaning on it. We got it, we got it all set. So we're ready to roll now.
This
and
weekend.
You want to talk about blessings? It takes electricity to run those things, and you can cut this out if you want. But we started looking for a generator, and a lot of these people that I was talking to in the pop-up world, they're like, hey, we want to make sure, do you have a quiet generator? And so I really wanted a quiet Honda, the Honda 7000.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. They're super quiet. You can actually stand right beside it and have conversation. But I was like, man, I can't afford. They're like $4,500 plus taxes. Like, I can't afford that. I just can't afford it. Yeah. And so one morning I got up and I picked up my deal, and I never look at Marketplace. That's the one thing she does. And I picked up my phone and I hit Marketplace, and there it was. It was a brand new Honda generator, had less than 2 hours on it.
Oh my gosh.
The guy wanted 30% less than a brand new one. 33% less.
Something's going on. This is crazy.
Yeah. So I call the guy up and I'm like, hey, I'd really like to meet that. And he sends me a video and all this stuff, tells me the whole backstory of it, the whole 9 yards. We go out there, we look at it. We pick it up. We had to do it had a little dent and stuff in it, but we cleaned it up. And so now we're literally sitting ready to roll.
Are you guys this weekend? Is it your first weekend?
Yeah, this weekend we'll be at Hop Fusion. It's our first weekend. I got to talking to the guys. You want to talk about another thing? I was like, hey, where would you set up if you had the opportunity to set up for your first time? And like everybody was like, Hop Fusion, go to Hop Fusion.
And I've even heard of it, and I'm in California. I've heard of Hop Fusion.
Yeah. So I called. I actually emailed Matt, and Matt was like, sure, when you want to come? And I'm like, oh. How about the 24th? That gives us enough time to get everything together and to promote it and all that stuff. And, that's one of the things, Brandon Hurtado with Hurtado Barbecue. He's also a marketing.
Yeah, in Arlington. Yeah, he has his own marketing company. Yeah.
So he's a good buddy of mine. And, he's like, he's been helping me with that kind of stuff. And so it's just like, we've been promoting it and we've been trying to do things like that. And it's just been crazy. So, the other day, we do the casino night for the Arlington Board of Realtors, and I'm like, you know what? We're catering it. But I'm going to take my trailer because it's right there on I-20, and I'm going to park it right out there.
Smart.
Yeah,
advertising.
So when we pull it out of the driveway and literally pull it out of the driveway, take a left. To go there, this lady named Dee Dee, who's helping the city of Burleson put together their first Oktoberfest, sees my trailer.
Oh, man.
And she calls me up like the next day or the 2 days later and just goes, hey, I would like to invite you to be in the first October Fest for Burleson. And I'm like, well, great, yeah. I was like, how many food trucks are you gonna have? We're gonna have 3. I said, you gonna have another barbecue truck? They're like, no, you're gonna be the barbecue truck.
That's so great.
And then I talked to the lady that's actually coordinating it today, and I was like, how many people do you plan on being there? She's like, we've estimated about 2,500. And I'm like,
holy smokes.
We're the only, and I've had another guy who wants me to do their grand opening for their dojo, and he's expecting about 300 people. And it's just like people are just calling.
It's snowballing. It is.
It is.
And Mandy's like, one of the things Mandi said, she's like, well, how come Kevin wants to interview you? You haven't even done your first pop-up yet. And I'm like, I don't know. Things are just
happening. They're happening.
Well, and I love to talk to people at this stage because it's so exciting. And
how many questions did you have that you haven't got a chance to ask?
I want to know your menu. What's your menu for this weekend?
So this weekend we are going to do prime brisket. We're going to do smoked turkey. Okay. We're going to do, as a matter of fact, what we are doing when we get done here is making jalapeno cheese sausage.
Okay. Hot links.
We are going to have cheddar hot links.
Okay.
We will have brisket Twinkies.
Can you explain? Because we had talked about that. Can you explain just really quick what that is?
It's not nothing new. It's not nothing that I came up with. But I didn't know. It's one of those things. It's the crazy mind of a barbecue guy. So I never knew that of this thing called a brisket Twinkie, which is a jalapeno pop. Essentially, it's a jalapeno popper. But you take the cheese and you mix it up with some brisket and some, whatever you do on yours. I do mine a certain way. And then you wrap it in bacon and you smoke it. Right?
Yeah. Pretty
simple, but it's stupid amazing.
It's so good.
So
so good.
I didn't know it was called that.
Cream cheese, but that's not what he uses.
Yeah. So and so one day I'm sitting there and I love pimento cheese, and so I'll sit and eat pimento cheese with Fritos or whatever.
It's so good. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there eating it one day, and I'm like, man, this would be really good in a jalapeno popper. And we'll smoke it, put some brisket in it.
Oh, so good.
And so, I'm thinking about that, and I'm telling her about it. And the next thing you know, Grill Girl, is it Jess Prowse?
Yeah.
She comes out with it and puts it out there, and I'm like, holy smokes, this is not just me, So, that's essentially what we do. Ours is pimento cheese.
Okay.
With brisket and some of our sauce and some of our, and a rub, a more sweet seasoning that we put in there. And then it's, it's essentially stuffed in a jalapeno, wrapped in bacon and smoked.
It sounds so good. Now, I interrupted you. Are you doing ribs too?
No, we're not doing ribs. We're trying to, this is our first outing. This is our first service with it. So we're trying to make sure that we have some good items, but we're trying to limit ourselves so that we don't get bogged down with 6 proteins and 8 sides and all of this stuff. And the next thing because we want to make sure that people get good food, but they get it in a timely fashion.
That's smart. That's really smart.
So we're going to do that. So one of the things that we do, I think that's different, is my mother had a corn casserole recipe that we always loved. And so we've kind of doctored it a little bit. When she made it, it was kind of more like a corn casserole pudding. It was kind of had a lot of moisture to it. We've kind of taken a little bit of that and kind of firmed it up a little bit.
Okay.
Sometimes we put jalapenos in and things like that. But it's a really good combination with the saltiness of the meat and things like that because it's sweet.
Sounds so good.
It's got that sweet flavor to it. And then we're going to do brisket beans, which is essentially pinto beans.
Brisket.
So everybody always gives props on these things to Aaron Franklin, which to be honest, I was not one of those guys. I didn't grow up watching Aaron Franklin videos. I actually bought the one that he did, but I never watched Aaron Franklin videos. But one of the things I did because I really I admire what he's done and Mandi, I can't remember how I got the book. I bought the book.
Yeah.
And so we took his bean recipe and we've adapted it to ours. what we like to do. So that's my brisket bean recipe. So that's my props to Aaron Franklin because he seems to touch everybody in the barbecue world.
He has like every interview I've done. Yes.
Yeah, and so and then we're doing. So I'm out there cooking one day, and Mandi comes out and she says, "Try this," and she sticks this spoon out, and it's got this, potatoes on it, and I'm like, "What is this?" And so I put it in my mouth. I'm like, "Holy crap, what is that?" And she's like, "It's German potato salad." So her and my mom were sitting in here working on a German potato salad recipe because she knew that I wanted to do a hot German potato salad recipe. So she's on her own,
That's
she's
so
coming in
great.
here and came up with that, Yeah, really good job, and so, so that we're going to have that. So another creation of Mandi's is my mom made a chocolate Texas sheet cake one day. And then we went to the Houston Barbecue Festival, and Brett Weber with Tin Roof, his mom was making the dessert for the Texas barbecue, and she took chocolate sheet cake and peanut butter sheet cake and made like a sandwich thing.
Oh, that's so smart.
It was really good, because it had.
I love peanut butter and chocolate. Like
So do I. Like I'm a Reese's peanut butter cup.
My favorite. I have a chocolate shake, protein shake, and I put peanut butter in it. I love chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah, so do I. Mandi, I'm on the same page. It's my favorite thing. Yeah.
So I took the two sheet cakes and I was like, what if not just mixing them, but what if you could marble them? So
that's what that marble. I saw that a picture of it.
So I marble not only the chocolate and peanut butter cake, but then I did the same thing with the icing, so that it's like fully loaded peanut butter and chocolate. It's so good.
Oh, I can't wait to try that. I can't wait to try that.
Yeah, it's really good. And
then we're doing banana pudding.
She's been kind of off. We're going to do banana pudding. We've taken some twists that we pulled from different places. I will have to, I got to give some props to Truth. We went down there and ate at Truth with John Brotherton for the.
That's
Houston.
the best banana pudding you'll ever eat. It was so good.
I've heard some great things about that. I haven't had it.
There was a little hint.
Sweets are my thing.
There was a little hint of something that we found in theirs that we brought back. So I'm giving Truth the props. That was some fantastic. Everything they have there is fantastic. Yeah. All their sides, everything. So, so that's what we're doing for that weekend. Probably the pictures you saw with Ryan Cooper. That night she made her Death by Chocolate, which is absolutely
nice,
phenomenal. Diabetic coma, kind of sweet. So it's that's one of the things that we kind of thought about when we went into this. We were actually talking to who was that was talking about the sides.
Brandon's girlfriend, Hannah.
Hannah, Brandon Hurtado's girlfriend, Hannah. We met him out there at 407 Barbecue. The first time I ever met him in person, and we just walked in and sat down and we just started talking. And one of the things that she had mentioned and that we had the same thing was that when you go to a barbecue place, guys, we're all about grubbing down on some carnivore-ish food, right? But then the ladies, they're not up to, and so they normally like to kind of nibble on the sides and stuff. And sides are always an afterthought. I've listened to a lot of these podcasts, and that's what a lot of people are doing, and that's what we're trying to do, is really focus on different sides.
Making everything good.
It's important. I think that's so important. I love that fact that's happening.
Yeah. We want to have good desserts and good sides, the pickles and the onions. We do our own pickles and onions, so we want everything to be unique and enjoyable. It's not nothing's an afterthought.
Yeah, and it's nothing that's ours. I mean, to be honest, we're all mixed masters of things that have been done for hundreds of years, and we're just trying to perfect things and make things better. Nothing
make it the way we like it.
Yeah, nothing.
That's what I was gonna say, Mandi. You're doing it how you like it. Hoping that other people love it too. That they should.
Yeah. Nothing we have is ours. I don't go for that. If somebody tomorrow wants to start making something we make, to me that's kind of like
that's a compliment.
That's a compliment. Yes, I don't share. Recipes aren't secrets to me. I mean, if you're on any of the pages that I'm on, I've shared sausage recipes. I've shared just about anything, because to me, if I keep something and I don't share something that everybody else likes, and then when I go, it dies with me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like family recipes and things like that. So if I find something that I really like and that other people really like, I want them to be able to make that too, and to share that, not
Enjoy
just
it.
when they come to eat at my place, but maybe make it at home or something like that, So I've had some guys share some great recipes with me. When they've asked me not to share, I don't share. But I'll tell you right now, there's guys out there that have literally shared almost their menu with us on what they do with things.
Amazing.
Works, what doesn't
What
work,
works, what doesn't work.
how to improve the product that you're already making. It's really awesome. It's very touching. The people make Texas barbecue what it is just as much as the food does.
You so well said. So that's exactly how I feel too, and that's.
I mean, like this weekend, so we really got some great guys that, from your standpoint, bloggers, writers, and things like that are coming. And I'll tell you what, I'm never nervous, but I can't tell you how nervous I am about
It's an exciting nervous though.
But I'm really excited for you, and I feel like you have the support of so many people too in the background that want.
Yeah, we love all those guys, and I can't say enough about. There's too many guys. All we do is sit here for an hour and I'd name guys off that have helped us and supported us and gave us props and all of that stuff. I mean, that's just, it's crazy.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm number one. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And like the Texas BBQ Facebook page is amazing, and the two of you guys together, I can see that you love each other and that you really want to be successful together. Like this is such a passionate thing, and I see great things for you. I'm so happy for you.
Well, thank you so much.
We appreciate that.
We appreciate your time.
All right, good evening, guys. How you guys doing again?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Good to talk to you again. I'm excited because we had talked about this, Jim, too, about doing a kind of a part 2 to see how Saturday's pop-up went the first day and what the initial impressions. I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you guys now because it's fresh.
Oh yeah, fresh.
Very fresh.
So how did it go? And where was the location? And is this going to be a semi-permanent location?
Well, we were at Hot Fusion in Fort Worth. It's just kind of south of downtown proper, I guess you'd say. And it was at Hot Fusion. It's a brewery here. And there's been several of the guys pop up there, and it's a really good place. They're really hospitable. And we had a really good time. I mean, it was a really nice place to start off with.
It was packed.
Yeah?
It was packed for most of the day. I mean, probably about 2 o'clock. I mean, they had a high amount of traffic through the brewery for sure.
And how was it? How was the night before? Was it nervous? Were you nervous? Was it exciting? How was it? What was that feeling?
I don't know. For me, we were just busy. We were slammed. We were just trying to get everything together.
I think it was a nervous anticipation.
Okay.
I mean, excited and nervous all at the same time. My husband has pretty good confidence, and he was a little nervous. It's all the build up and the excitement, and we've been working towards it for so long, and it's like, okay, it's here.
And you wanted to do a great job because it's a big deal and regardless of what it was.
Yeah, and it's completely different than catering, and that's the kind of mindset we've gone into it in, is the kind of the catering mindset, and we learned really quick that it's a whole different animal.
It is.
With as far as service and food and all of that stuff, it's completely different.
So do you think when is your next pop-up going to be?
Well, the next pop-up is it's kind of a pop-up / we're doing a grand opening for a dojo, a karate dojo that's opening up here in South Fort Worth.
Okay.
So he wanted us to come out and be a food truck on site. So we're going to go out and do that. He's got quite a bit of people coming, and so hopefully, and we're going to put that out on the page too. For our people that want to come and try our food or eat our food, they're more than welcome to come too. So it's not just for him.
So it's open to the public as well. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And so is there anything in your minds that you think of that you want to make sure you can anticipate, things that you didn't notice?
Well, no, actually we were killing it on our order turnarounds.
Okay.
So I would say it averaged somewhere around 45 seconds. As a matter of fact, people would walk up to the window, and as they were ordering, she would holler out what they were ordering. And so I would be cutting the meat, and my dad was helping us, and so he would be doing the sides. And so by the time they paid they would turn around and walk off, and I'd be hollering, "Hey, sir, here's your order," So
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay, well,
really.
that's impressive.
Our
yeah,
turnaround time was really fast.
Well, that's
yeah.
excellent.
We did pretty well on that. We had a lot. We cooked sides with the anticipation of what we would normally serve for that amount of people at a cater. And we found that was one of the issues that we had is we had way too many sides.
Okay, that's good to know.
When you cater, everybody gets a little bit of everything. It's free. It's out there. So they get everything. They get a spoonful of everything. But when they're paying for it, and then we had people come through only order meat or one side or two sides. But yeah, we had some sides left over.
That's good advice, and that's interesting because a lot of people don't think about it that way. If they've been catering for 3, 4, 5 years, that is important because you could figure out how many, like a quarter pound of meat like per person or whatever you kind of figure, and then the sides. That's interesting.
And the dessert.
Our neighbors loved us. As a matter of fact, he came over that afternoon and he was like, or the next day, and he was like, "Hey, man, did you have any leftovers? Do you have some barbecue? We'd like to buy some more."
Oh, that's cool. That's
He
great.
came out to the event.
I bet a lot of familiar faces came out too, which was nice.
Yeah, we had a few people turn out that we knew. We had a lot of people that we didn't know. So I mean, it was nice.
It was steady.
You said that there might be a permanent or a semi-permanent location coming up in the future.
Yeah, so we've been working with the city of Crowley, and they've been really good working with us. And so we have got a tentative spot. He has to the city I think it's the city secretary or the plan. I can't remember who he is. Anyway, he has to go before the Economic Development Council, who says yes or no whether we can what the parameters are for where we're going to set up. He's already given us the tentative yes. He just has to get the final approval through the city.
Okay.
So it's going to be here in Crowley. It's going to be on Main Street.
Okay.
And it's going to be, they're building a Bourray's, which is an awesome Cajun restaurant. And then there's a Chicken Express, and we're going to be right in between them. And then right behind us is going to be a huge, it's called House of Air. It's a big jump house, and it's got all the stuff where you go trampolines and all that stuff where you get to go and jump and act crazy. So it'll be nice because parents will be able to come and eat some barbecue, and the kids can go jump in the jump house. And
that sounds like an ideal location, and that's obviously not too far from your house, right?
Oh, no, it's literally probably maybe half a mile from our house.
Yeah, okay, that's very close to your house.
And the neat thing about it is the city of Crowley is buying up a bunch of property right there where we're going to be, and they're putting an amphitheater in for live music and things like that.
Oh.
And then they're going to have actual permanent spots for food trucks to be able to set up for events and things like that. So that's kind of what we're doing is we're
Getting a foot in early.
We're getting a foot in
Smart,
early. That way,
so smart.
when that comes around, we'll have the ability to be hopefully on one of those things.
Oh, that's great. Well, and how far off is this? Is this a few months away?
No, it's like it's a 2-year plan.
Oh, it's a 2-year plan. Okay.
Yeah, 2021 is what they're shooting for, but you know how that goes.
People will be able to just, if they follow you on Facebook and on social media, they'll be able to see your pop-ups as you go. Well, do you think you'll be back at Hot Fusion or at other places like?
Well, the deal with Hot Fusion is our buddy Trevor Salas with Bricks Barbecue is going to be setting up caddy corner across the street with his Airstream once he gets it all put together.
His permanent spot.
Yeah, that's going to be
his. That'll be his. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So that's going to be kind of his permanent spot there. So, and I understand that, and we really like them. They put out some really good food, and we would never step on anybody's toes like that. So, we might set up there one more time, depending on how long it takes for him to get over there. But probably not. We're really going to, if we can get this thing with Crowley going, we're going to really want to start focusing on that. And then we've got the Burleson Oktoberfest that we're doing. And so we're starting to get a lot of attention where people want us to come and do things.
There'll be plenty of times for people to get a chance to taste your food and try your food and build that momentum towards the more permanent location. That's awesome. That's exciting.
That's what we're
really
shooting
excited.
for.
Yeah. Well, then, so then are there any tips for people that go into their first weekend or are just about to go from catering to their own pop-up? Is there anything that you could think of that would be a nice tip for people, or just plan ahead? Because you guys planned ahead. You guys were thinking weeks ahead to kind of get this going?
Yeah, one of the things is, I have a lot of friends in this business, and when you go to their place and they've got lines and it's just slammed and it's busy, busy, busy. It takes time to get to that place. It takes a little bit of time to get to that place to where people are popping up. And I think it's somewhat about location too. So that was kind of some of our, we were a little frustrated with that because, it was our first time out. It was our first pop up. We tried to set some excitement around it. We had some great guys come out, but to be honest, where a lot of guys open up and they sell in 3 or 4 hours. We were there for 9.5 hours. And I almost gave up once or twice. We were like, no, we're going to stick it out.
Good.
And actually, about 8 o'clock, we got
our biggest rush at 8 p.m.
Holy smokes, really?
They rolled in there, and
well, everybody had, the buzz was wearing off, and so they needed sustenance.
Oh, of course, yeah, before they went home, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I started off at about 7:30. I had 4 briskets. And 2.5 turkey breasts and about 15 pounds of sausage.
And we were both like,
Man,
did we just over prepare? What are we going to do with this food? And
then all of a sudden, they just started popping up, and people were coming up that had eaten before, had come up and got some more to take home.
Or got dessert.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So that's great advice, is that it's not going to be, even though you see these big lines on social media for places, it's not their first day, it's not their first week. It takes time to gain momentum and people to get used to and be interested. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And this next pop-up will be bigger, and then who knows, before you know it, you'll be like, wait a second, it's 4 hours.
Yeah. And probably the other thing that I think we was a smart move on our part was we chose to have a limited menu. So we just had the brisket, turkey breast, and then I had two homemade sausages, and that was our menu.
Okay.
And we had
the Twinkies.
Yeah, and the Twinkies, and so we had 3 sides, and so 4 sides, and so it was just really kind of.
It was easy to control. It was easy to. You didn't give them so many that you were spread too thin, and it was easy to.
That's smart. Yeah, you can't manage. If you have 8 sides and 8 proteins. It's a lot, especially if you're not a well-run machine at the beginning. Like you're figuring out how things are going and what you should be making. Yeah, that's a great tip too, Mandi. That's so smart.
Yeah.
Wow, excellent. Well, thank you guys so much. I wanted to kind of get you guys fresh, and I'm excited to, like, say 3 months down the line, let's revisit one more time, and then we can kind of chronicle this, not just for other people, but also for yourselves. You can kind of see what you can look at yourselves and say, oh, that's how we were feeling at that time. And hopefully other people will get information from it too. I think that'd be great. But I'm so happy that you guys took the time again. I see you're wearing a Regal shirt. What shirt?
Oh yeah, this is his new shirt.
It's a great shirt.
Yeah, and hopefully by the next time we roll around, I don't know. It's we're waiting, but we'll have our AJ's custom pit by then too. He's building us it's actually a 500-gallon pit, but it's a 30 inch pit, and it's 13 feet long.
Wow.
So it's kind of a smaller around than a 1,000-gallon, but it's really long. So. And we're doing some special things with, that he had some ideas and I had some ideas, and we kind of culminated some ideas on the firebox and some of the other things. So it'll be a one of a kind for him, and hopefully we'll need it. I'll need it by October. I'm gonna have to start looking for a smoker to borrow because they're expecting 2,500 people in October. So
well, and AJ, it is AJ's custom cookers, and that's a true statement. Everything he does is custom, and he gave me a little tour where I'm posting an interview with him. Everything's crazy custom. That's a specialty.
Yeah. And and we talked to a lot of different. There's a lot of great pit builders out there,
without a doubt.
One of my passions, or one of the things that I really think is important, is for us to shop locally and to spend locally and to try to keep it in. There was a lot of great guys that I talked to that I almost used, but when it came down to it, we were like, AJ's here. He does a good job. He's local. We want to support local people, and he's really good about supporting local people too. So
heck yeah.
we think it's going to be a great combination, and it's probably not going to be the last one we get from him either.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, let's hopefully, if it's not on, if we don't get a tour with Skype on that, I definitely want to get a personal tour of that because I want to check it out because I'm really excited for you guys for that.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Excited too.
excellent. Well, that's a great way to tie it up. I wanted to get into AJ part because I'm very proud of him, and he's a great family guy. Like he's just a great overall guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't call him on non-working hours because he's with his family and he's not shy to let you know that too.
Yeah.
He's
This
when
is my
it's
family time.
Yep, when it's family time, it's family time. If it's not emergency, and I respect that. I appreciate that he gives that attention to his family.
And I respect that too. And he said something telling too. He said, "I don't want to be a millionaire. I just want to be able to provide for my family and have a good business and
Yep.
be respectable and make sure that and it sounds like you guys too. It's like you wanted to create a business for the long run. You're not just doing this just for overnight success. You want to do.
Oh, this is hopefully our retirement plan.
Excellent. Well, I think it is. I'm excited. A lot of people, there's a big buzz, so it's a great thing. I'm excited for you, and thank you again, and have a great rest of your week. And
Uh,
I'll shoot this over to you when it's finished.
Okay,
Thanks so
that sounds
much.
good. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Have a good evening.
Thanks so much. Take care.